Check this out.
I studied theology, but I came to realize that the Jesus that they preach in churches also is not the Jesus that is the true Jesus.
All the biblical characters in the Bible, children's books, white people, even though they were in a part of the world where there are no white people.
That's crazy.
So even though we don't have that in our home, my child has nonetheless already at the age of 7 somehow internalized the idea that the creation source of the universe, whether taken in religious terms or humanistic and more naturalistic terms, is somehow closer to her than to Morgan Freeman.
What?
My daughter has internalized that. What do you think black and brown children internalize when they see the same imagery? And they see those images. They see them in the stained glass of our churches. You see them in the Christmas cards that get sent around every holiday season where baby Jesus is in the manger in what apparently is Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Lily white Jesus, which makes no sense anthropologically, biologically, historically, makes no sense at all.
Somebody's saying that. They're teaching that he's God, the Son, whereas he never claimed to be God. The Son is to be the Son of God.
Wonderful. So you're an open-minded Christian then, huh?
I don't follow Paul anymore.
Okay.
Somebody done told you wrong, brother.
Then it says, therefore it says, when he ascended on high, he led a host of captives and he gave gifts to men. Okay?
Right.
So you know that this is a Old Testament quotation, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, do you have a Bible next to you?
Yes.
You think Paul wrote Ephesians?
Yes, he did.
I know you lying to me.
It could be. I'm not sure.
It's a quotation from Psalm 68:18.
Okay.
Can you read it line by line?
Thou hast descended on high. Thou
Okay,
hast
stop.
captivity.
Okay. Ascended on high. So far, so good. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Thou hast led captivity captive.
Okay, led captivity captive. So far, so good. It's matching Ephesians. Okay.
Okay.
Next.
Thou hast received gifts for men.
That has received gifts.
Mhm.
That has received gifts.
Interesting.
I'm just trying to help you out, kid. I'm trying to watch your back out here, chief.
Interesting.
here.
And what does Paul say? It says you gave gifts to men.
Okay.
You see, in Paul's rationale and his mode of thinking, he's trying to prove here that Christ proportioned grace to everyone in a certain proportion, in a certain ratio. And in order to make that point, he changes received into give. So why does Paul? There's two possibilities here. Either Paul is intentionally misquoting the text to make his point, and there are numerous examples of that I can take you through, or he's reading from a different text that you no longer have, which means the Old Testament is corrupt, or he made a mistake.
For real.
There's no point in talking with you anymore. If you're saying Paul, if you're saying Paul is allowed to change the text as he's citing it, then you're basically co-signing.
Well, he's not changing it. He's not changing
What
it.
is a bigger change than receive to give?
Good question.
Well, there you go. So how did you figure out Paul was the false disciple?
I realized that Paul that he was preaching was against exactly what Jesus was preaching.
You'll never see a Christian today and tell him he's the true follower of Jesus. I'm a true follower of Jesus.
You ain't lying.
Because Jesus was a Muslim. The way he prayed, the way he fasted, the way he lived would be that of a Muslim. What Christian puts his head on the ground and prays today like Jesus did? Who put his face on the ground, like the way when me and you pray, and we put our head on the ground and prayed, and he prayed to the God above. And then what's very interesting is he's saying, take this cup away from me. You know what that means? Like the death and the crucifixion that the Christians talk about. He's making dua, oh Allah above, whether linguistically, whatever, take this away from me, which totally contradicts the Christian narrative. Because according to their narrative, he was sent here to die on the cross. So if that was the plan, why would he be saying, take it away from me?
That is a good, tough question.
So Paul and Jesus preached completely different things. Right? So Jesus says in Matthew 5:17, I have not come to abolish the law, but to uphold the law. Paul said, abolish the law.
What?
Jesus said, the Father is greater than I am. Jesus said that the Father is the only true God, right?
Yeah, that's pretty true. That's true, and yeah, that's true. That's true.
So the reason why Paul is so popular today is because you had two groups that emerged. So you had Jesus and his disciples, like James and the Jerusalem Council. This is in Acts, chapter 15, right? So James and the disciples of Jesus, they were following the law after Jesus died, right? And he starts telling people, hey, don't worry about the law, don't circumcise, don't pray, don't go to the temple, just believe in Jesus and you'll be saved. On one side, Jesus and his disciples are telling you, to worship God, you have to do A, B, C, D, and E. On the other hand, Paul is saying, believe he died for your sins and you'll be good to go. Which one would you follow? Which one are you more inclined to follow?
Jesus.
The problem is, Paul, who never met Jesus, fought with the direct disciples of Jesus. The ones who were with Jesus, who learned from Jesus, who walked with him, who taught with him. My point toward the Christians is, why would you follow Paul
Good question.
Paul is a test for Christianity. So Jesus said, if you love me, follow my commandments. But if you go to a church right now, for every 10 verses of Paul, they preach one or three. That's each thing. Whereas Jesus is supposed to be the final word in the Bible.
Your main purpose is to convince me.
No, I said I'm not here to convince. I will give you our perspective, but it's your choice. For both of us. So you, when you're guided, you will go to paradise. And me, I'm fulfilling my obligation as a Muslim by sharing the message of truth, because I want good for other people. The Prophet said you should love for others what you love for yourself. So I'm trying to love for others what I love for myself. That's the reason why I do this. But it sounds about right. Everything I'm doing here, the reward will be in the afterlife. Yes.
Is that something you think about?
Don't you think that it's an innate thing for us to want good for others as we do for ourselves? Do I need a reason for that? To want good for others as I want for myself?
No.
If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button or follow, and y'all be good.